You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Montini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
And welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network. And of course, streaming simulcast on our YouTube channel.
Greetings, everyone. What hiatus?
Yeah, exactly. Hiatus. This year has been a hiatus.
Hiatus free.
Hiatus. We can actually lump this in with the lockdown sessions that we did.
Yeah.
Because now essentially we're back in the lockdown.
That's right.
Full lockdown. Not completely as full as the first round, but lockdown nonetheless. Less.
Yeah, Ron said no rest for the wicked. Agreed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for calling us wicked.
Yes. That's a compliment.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. So thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us on the New Visions Radio Network or watching our live stream on our YouTube channel, thank you for the support. The continuous support. We certainly appreciate it. Um, Alex is going to be slurring late, about second, but I'd say I give it about the halfway mark. He's going to be slurring his words more than I do normally.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So
Because of this.
yeah, so give it a shout out because I know the guys do listen to the show.
Okay, here we go. Triple bone tree. I don't know if you can see it from Third Moon. Can you see it properly?
Oh, I can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. There you go.
Oh, is it blurry?
It's kind of blurry. I guess it's the light. It's reflecting on it. I can't really see too. Okay. Anyway,
Well, it would be blurry after 10%.
yeah, of course. So, triple bone tree from Third Moon Brewing Company. There you go. Shout out.
There we go. Awesome. Of course, if you're listening, you could not see that.
Yes, you couldn't see it. That's right.
But anyways, here we are. Normally our Christmas, New Year's hiatus, but we decided to soldier on because circumstances are a little different this year. I don't know about you. Well, let me ask you, how was your Christmas?
It's pretty good. I mean, we stayed at home Christmas Eve. Normally we go to my family's on Christmas Eve, but we just decided, obviously not just decided, it was decided for us that we couldn't go anywhere, so we stayed at home and just had intimate dinner.
Yeah. And again, I don't know. Because of what's happening, obviously, it doesn't feel like Christmas. It didn't feel like Christmas.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all.
Restrictions, limitations, things that, what you normally do for the holidays, you simply couldn't do. You had to substitute, emphasize, all sorts of different variations of what you would normally do during this time of the year. And I mean, are we going to have a virtual New Year's?
That's what it's looking like.
And how do you think that's going to, play out? I mean, obviously, it's hard enough to tell people to stay home during Christmas, but New Year's, that's a bigger one.
Yeah, for some it definitely is because they'd love to go out and party on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, New Year's Day, everybody's recovering.
That's if anyone's recovered and not, in time for the morning for a New Year's Day celebration.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, anyways, yeah, a little crazy. I mean, yeah, Christmas was relatively good here as well. I want to thank my wife for actually updating my studio, with the new mic and new arm and all that kind of stuff, and building on to making this show, I mean, sound a little better, look a little better.
Yeah.
Than it has in the past. I mean, let's face it, we've come a long way since the Blog Talk days.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yes.
I mean, if you can remember how the audio played out when we were listening to it, after the show was over,
it sounded like we were using especially me, like when I was using the headset with the built-in mic.
Yep.
You mentioned it a few times when we were doing the show that sounded like I was talking underwater.
You sounded like you're underwater.
Yeah.
You literally sounded like you're gasping for air, blowing bubbles.
Yeah, blowing bubbles. That's right.
He will be in a few after those couple more gulps of that triple bone tree.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, speaking of Third Moon, I got a chance to stop by Third Moon there and talk to the guys and asking them if they'd like to come back on the show and sort of give us a catch up and an annual report, if you will. Because I mean, it's May will be the official day that they're, or month that it'll be a year that they were officially open. But like I've been visiting the brewery and Bibo and all that kind of stuff since October of last year. So um, they've come a long way. Literally, they have now ventured into. Um, Last I checked, I think they're in the top 6 for Ontario breweries.
That's awesome. That's really
You
good.
know, so that's a long way, man.
Yeah.
In such short time span. I mean, not even a year yet.
That's right.
But they played it right. They did it right, and things are working out. So that's cool. And you can expect some really cool stuff yet to come from them. So eventually we're going to have him back on the show. Give us, an update. And I know Bibo is the head brewer and one of the co-owners, co-founders of Third Moon. He's a big paranormal guy.
Good.
He
Have some
loves
nice
it,
conversations.
and he's, even though we really didn't get to talk too much paranormal the last time they're on, I know he's been dying to talk some cryptozoology.
Ah, one of those, huh?
Yeah, he's a big crypto guy. He likes his creatures, so I'm sure we'll. And it sort of reflects. I don't know. It reflects a lot on their, the logos. The logos of not logos, but the
The design.
design on the labels of their beer. The guy that they've got, Yard Wolves, is his name. Incredible artist, man.
Yeah.
It's some really, really, really cool labels that he's pulled out for those guys. So,
I like
said,
this
it
one. I
reflects.
like the triple bone tree one, the skull and the green skull there.
Yeah, well, see, all the Bone Tree ones have that, right? The Bone Tree, the regular Bone Tree is red,
Okay.
and then the double Bone Tree is blue, and now the triple Bone Tree, which is green. But I mean, there's slight variations on the label itself, but for the most part, it kind of looks the same except for the coloring and slight variations, right?
Mm-hmm. I think the triple should have been red because that's the deadlier one.
It's the deadlier one, yeah.
Yeah.
But green is nuclear.
That's true. Yeah. So it's fitting then. It's fitting.
It's fitting. It's fitting.
Yeah.
It is. And let's face it, they probably weren't thinking about doing a triple in the beginning, so that's why they went with red in the beginning.
Yeah.
With the regular one. So there you go. Anyways, tonight we are going to, I guess, sort of skirt around the gray areas of what has the paranormal itself. I mean, the unknown. There's an area, there's a fine line, a gray area, if you will, of what people still to this day consider paranormal, but it isn't. It's not paranormal in the sense where it's been kind of explained through science.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know paranormal meaning unknown, meaning outside the current understanding of science. So to this day, you can literally, there are so many people in the field, if you will, that make all these claims of paranormal evidence of the paranormal and look at I've got something that is paranormal, and realistically it's not. It simply is it a question of not wanting to know the truth and something that seemingly so unique to them. They don't want to look into trying to explain it. but rather just pass it off as something paranormal.
Yeah.
And that is a case that is pretty much across the board with a lot of claims out there. People coming forward and saying, "Look I've got this on camera. I've got this, on video. I've got this, whatever." And uh, when somebody scrutinizes it, it's like, oh, game over. It's like you've hit the bee's hive. You've erupted the bear from its slumber because you're telling them the facts about something and they don't want to fucking believe it. Oh, there's that word. I'm sorry. I swore.
Should have beat yourself up.
Yeah. So, anyways, and again, I guess we'll do a little bit of an update on the Dark Woodlot too, because there's some interesting stuff about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have another shoot there a couple weeks ago. Not quite as intriguing as the night, like the shoot before that. But I don't know. About that, my wife and I, we went for a walk, and we were actually walking by that area
Mm-hmm.
on the sidewalk, and there was a pack of coyotes
Oh,
in the field. There was about four of them.
interesting.
Four big coyotes. And that's automatically trouble. I mean, four coyotes. You got to watch yourself, right? Obviously. But I mean, they didn't seem to bother us, and we went on our merry way. But goes to show you. I mean, the one night we were in there, we did hear one very close to us.
Yep.
Who knows? Were there more? Could possibly have been. Who knows?
Oh, well, if you saw four the other day, then I'm sure that there's more lingering around somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit about the woodlot and more. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Dark Discussions. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Or just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio in the search box and look for the group, not the page. The page has been retired, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the group, right?
I'm pretty sure it's the group, yes.
It's the group, yeah, because the page has been retired. And our Instagram, which is Nocturnal Frequency Radio as well. Yeah. Also, we have to get out there, Alex.
Yes.
The double-sided T-shirt is going into retirement.
It is December 31st. Get yours now before it goes away.
December 31st. If you haven't got that double-sided T-shirt, you better go before it's gone. It'll be gone forever. Gone for good. No more. Limited run. Grab it now while you can. December 31st. And they can find that on Teespring. Just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
Yeah, they should be able to do it by that. Just type it in when you're at teespring.com.
Yeah?
Yep.
Will it work?
I hope so.
You hope so.
I've never had to do it myself, but I'm pretty sure.
Now you're just checking it out now to make sure, right?
Well, yeah. Just in case.
Just in case. And yeah, so and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not watching the live feed right now, you can visit us at youtube.com/user/Nocturnal Frequency 1, or just again type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio into the search box, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It should come up.
Yeah.
And
that
subscribe.
I know for sure will come up if you do it on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. So subscribe. Please subscribe and follow us for upcoming stuff. Because although I've been neglecting putting up some some of the archives up to the YouTube of lately. We've got a lot going on right now, so I really haven't had a chance, but I will be getting some up there soon, hopefully. But again, to keep up to date with that, you need to subscribe so you can get a better handle on what's going on with the channel and live shows and updates on the Dark Woodlot. So until then, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk or explore the great unknown. You're listening and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
That was not paranormal. It sucked.
Did you hear that? Sounded like a scream. You hear that? Listen, guys, over here. Again, that wailing noise. Look, what's that? What's that? There's something fucking moving over there. You see that? You saw that, right?
Is that white?
It was fucking white.
This is Keith Age, and you're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Enjoy.
good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as...
And welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here live on the New Visions Radio Network and, of course, live streaming on our YouTube channel. So however you're catching us, thank you for tuning in or watching. Alex, are you alive?
I am.
Are you sure? What's new?
Nothing.
The
There's another one for the books.
proverbial nothing.
That's another one for the books.
That's another one for the books. And you realize it's going to be a video collage now, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay. So anyways, where do we start?
Yeah. Where do we start with this topic?
It's a tough topic to talk about.
It is.
So, I mean, obviously we can only speak from what we have learned through personal experiences and, of course, years of investigation or books that we've read that are maybe science-based, and obviously what science itself is saying about the paranormal, if you will. And we look at we know there is an area, a huge area that science is unable to explain as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
So our understanding of this huge area that we call the paranormal is basically theory based as of right now.
Yeah.
But there is a gray area, if you will, or like a boundary where science has explained up to pretty much. And yet there's conflicts within those explanations and what's inside that unknown area that, well, it could probably go a different way, maybe. I don't know. Because we simply don't fully understand, obviously. And I think one of the biggest sort of stepping stones is, I mean, are we ever going to learn what happens after death?
That's the goal.
That's obviously a huge stepping stone, right?
Of course, and that's the goal for a lot of people, including myself, right?
Yeah. But if and when that day comes that we learned about the afterlife, if you will, what the next sort of step is, do you think that will fully explain the paranormal?
No, I don't think so, because there's a lot of things that happen that to me, and this is just me speculating, mind you, but the things that happen that have not much to do with the afterlife itself. It has a different aspect of the paranormal, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, I mean, you hear your typical haunting. It could be old Aunt May who lived in the house and died in the house and is haunting the house now, which, that would lend credibility, if it were real, to the possibility of an afterlife of some sort. But then you have other incidents that occur, like premonitions, for example, that have nothing to do, at least from what I can understand, have nothing to do with a afterlife per se. It has something else entirely. It's almost like a different realm of the paranormal. Where it goes and what it is, I don't know, but it's not tied in.
Really?
Not to the afterlife.
Not to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Why? But how do we know that though? I mean, what's telling us that is exactly how it is?
Well, nothing's really telling us. It's speculation primarily.
Yeah.
Right.
Primarily speculation.
Right.
Yes.
And if you look, like I said, if you look at the two examples I gave, one where you're getting haunted by a spirit that could be old Aunt May, for example, and then your premonition of something that hasn't happened yet. How does the premonition tie into the afterlife is beyond me at the moment. It could very well be, but I don't know if it is. And it seems to be almost like a different branch of the paranormal, so to speak, because the paranormal is a broad term. It encompasses a lot of things, right? So it's a different avenue in my opinion.
Well, what do you think? What do you think we have to do, or what science has to do to sort of pick up their pace, if you will, in trying to understand, certain aspects of that?
Well, I think the first step is to not dismiss it out of hand immediately.
Okay.
That's one big step that would help the paranormal field in general. Is instead of just dismissing it immediately as a flight of fancy or someone's imagination, to actually look into it more seriously, using the different scientific methodologies that are available to them to see if they can come up with some kind of explanation. And you know what, a lot of the times it could very well be, a regular mundane reason that the individual misconstrued as something paranormal, but so be it. Out of all the incidences that occur worldwide, and even the ones that don't get reported because these people are still hesitant to come forward because of the stigma that's attached to the paranormal still to this day, you can't tell me that all of them are mundane reasons. You know what I mean? It's even if only 1% of them is legitimately paranormal, I think it warrants investigation.
I agree. I agree. And I mean, I know on the show we have kind of outright sort of dismissed using certain tools, if you will, that people employ in investigations or whatever, saying that they really harbor no legitimate findings, if you will. But I mean, that's not the case. I mean, you literally have to try whatever you can. I mean, I get that. I mean, this is a learning. This is the learning curve of trying to understand stuff, and you'd be surprised at what will work and what won't work. But I mean, that doesn't go to say that some of these tools, even though you employ them, doesn't mean uh, you know what people are gathering, if you will, findings, if you will, but people will claim that as evidence. Is that at all? Is it really evidence of the paranormal? We don't know. And in most cases, I would simply say probably not, because there's probably something that's able to explain certain things. With audio, for instance, and we'll go into the old dreaded ghost box, Radio Shack hack, or whatever you want to call it, spirit box. I simply just I don't buy it as legitimately providing answers that would convey the paranormal to me at all.
Yeah, I agree. Um, it's, until we can stumble upon something that actually works. Again, how do you do that when you don't really know what you're dealing with? Unfortunately, I think the first step in devising equipment to detect this sort of thing is to first figure out exactly what it is that we are experiencing. That in itself is going to be a chore, because it could be something that's it is something that's non-physical, but what I mean is it could be something that only certain people perceive because they have abilities within them that allows them to experience these where others don't. So how do you create equipment for that?
Exactly. I mean, we got to look at it. Obviously, look at a lot of the tools that are employed were never made for ghost hunting to begin with. And even when they were employed in the beginning as tools for ghost hunting, if you will, they weren't simply employed to detect ghosts, but to in fact explain the natural environment in which it is employed for. An EMF meter, for instance,
Mhm.
it's there to explain or to give you readings of the known environment, not ghosts, right? And most people will automatically say it's a ghost detector.
Yeah.
So when most people are saying it's a ghost detector, and people who are getting into this and looking, I want to buy some tools that I can employ with the paranormal, if you will, you know, that's not how it goes. But that's the way they're taught. Really, that's the way they learned it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really too bad. But
And that and
these are
that's
things that
yeah.
if you sit there and tell these people, no, what you're doing is not right. It's not right at all.
And that could stem from a problem, not a problem, but a scenario where one day a long time ago the EMF meter was used, and it so happened to work in a way that they also captured some EVPs in conjunction with some anomaly, and now it's been viewed as a tool to be able to detect ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
and it gets perpetuated. The problem is with EMF meters is that a lot of things give off EM fields.
Mm-hmm.
All electronics give off EM fields. Some stronger
Yep.
than others, obviously, but
Yep.
it's not a great detection in my mind. And I mean, at the end of the day, we don't even know for sure
No.
that ghosts and spirits emit EM fields. That's a
Exactly.
speculation on a lot of people's part, because there's really no proof of that.
Exactly. Exactly. But how do you go about telling people without, you know, setting them off the deep end? You
Yeah.
can't.
No, you
You
can't.
know, it's like somebody who believes that they've captured an orb on film and wholeheartedly believe that it is in fact the spirit of some deceased loved one, if you will.
Mhm.
And you really have to watch your approach with that, because it can become quite the sensitive sort of um, area with
It is.
somebody, obviously,
It
who's
is.
who's grieving, and believes it wholeheartedly that what they've captured there is a deceased loved one.
It's
Yeah.
like, and I used this example before, but it's like trying to have a discussion with a deeply religious person, and you're not religious, but trying to have a sort of, you know, just a general conversation about religion and your beliefs, your stance, and why you choose not to be religious. You just cannot get someone who's deeply religious to even accept a lot of the things you're saying. No matter what you say, they're going to believe what they're going to believe, and that's final, right? It's similar to that concept when it comes to beliefs, regardless of whether it's religious or paranormal or even political. You'll have an uphill battle trying to convince any of these individuals of your viewpoints.
Absolutely. Um, Now, why the hell can't I get you to believe it?
Hmm. Well, I haven't had enough beers yet.
Ah, so you need spirits to see spirits.
That's right.
To believe the spirit world, you need spirits. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Speaking of a place that serves spirits is closing up after 25 years. Actually, a place we investigated a few times, and in fact, one of the investigations made the head or sorry the front page of the Hamilton Spectator, and that's the Winking Judge in Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
At an old bar. Well, it's a bar now, but it was the captain's quarters of ships that used to port in Hamilton, in Burlington Harbor there. And I believe it was built in the 1600s. I believe the original building. Anyways, they're closing up shop after 25 years.
That sucks.
Too bad. Too bad.
Yeah.
Cool place. And I don't know. I had to throw that in there because we were talking about spirits.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know. Yeah. So there are so many areas of the paranormal that are very, they're sore spots with people who have put a lot of hard work into trying to further the quest, if you will. And somebody comes along and totally, it's like starting off anew again and try and look at, I remember that when I started off, but I quickly learned, through research and other investigations and whatever else, that in fact that wasn't paranormal. But there are people that just don't want to sort of understand, if you will. They want to believe that what they've captured, or what they've well, I'll say captured, I guess, recorded or captured on with photo or whatever, that is it's paranormal. No ands, ifs, and buts about it. When you have somebody, like, for instance, if it's something captured, an anomaly captured on photo, you have a lot of people who are experts in that field in photography, that are that they're trained photographers, professional photographers that know every nook and cranny about photography. And if anything, they would be able to tell you exactly what is going on in the photo. And 99.9% of the time, when even they speak up and tell you no, that is a natural anomaly. It's something causing this, and they will tell you. And yet there are people out there that will not take the scrutiny lightly.
No, they won't.
It's, no, look at, I've got so many followers on Instagram.
I have to be right.
My followers on Instagram are telling me that this is an anomaly. It's paranormal.
That's right. It's very paranormal.
Scary.
It is
scary.
It is
But
scary.
it's the truth. I mean, again, like everything in life, social media has dictated the way paranormal evidence and findings are conveyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
When you
unfortunate.
when you really think about it, that's the way it is.
No, I agree with you. It's unfortunate.
Posting something on you, or sorry, on Facebook, and saying, look it, I got a ghost here. It's undoubtedly a ghost. I have authentic paranormal footage. And somebody comes along and tells them, no, what you have there is a lens flare or double exposure.
You're not referring to that website or that page on Facebook, are you?
Well, of course, that's one page too. I mean, there's several pages out there,
Yeah, for sure.
but mostly on Facebook, because I mean that's where most people gravitate now to sharing their paranormal evidence.
Yeah.
Right? They go to Facebook.
Quote unquote evidence.
Quote unquote evidence. They go look up, share it on Facebook and see what the people or the folks will say. And again, yeah, Instagram as well. I mean, most people will simply go, look at, I captured this and I can't explain it. What do you guys think? And most people will fuel the fire. I think you've captured something very unique there. Yes, it's a fairy. No, it's just a very strange anomaly. I think you have something there. And realistically, it's something very explainable. And when it's plain as day and you explain it to them, oh God, you're the bad guy. You're that energy vampire that entered the room and sucked the life out of the thread.
That would be me.
Huh?
That would be me.
It's scary, but it's so true. And
Ron posted a comment says it's like trying to tell a stranger about rock and roll.
yeah, rock and roll. There's a phrase I haven't heard in a long time. I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's really sad. And to be honest, I've all but given up. I really have. I mean, there is no um setting the record straight with this. There really isn't. I mean, it's like anything again that's social media related. Your one voice, and you're up against 50 million pigeons
Yeah.
that flock together, shit in the same fucking pavement. And there's no way you can get them to move over to the side and shit in a toilet.
No. Or let alone get them to flush it after the fact.
Flush it, yeah. I mean, it's sad. It really is. And I don't know. Like it's not that I don't want to investigate the paranormal anymore. I do. I really do have a passion for it. I really do love getting in there and doing what needs to be done. But at the same time, when something truly intriguing sort of comes to light, I find it equally as intriguing and fascinating trying to well, not sorry, to prove that it isn't paranormal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen. There's so many things that I've witnessed, captured, or whatever else. I simply can't explain. Science isn't to me explaining it. Then where do we sit?
Good question.
Where do we sit?
You're not gonna get a good explanation as to where we sit with this stuff by anybody because nobody really knows, and that's basically what it boils down to. If we can't get a consensus, or if we can't get the majority of people who are scientifically minded, or because I hate to just say, only scientists should be doing this and to validate the paranormal. It shouldn't just be them, because there's a lot of people who have been doing this sort of research who are not scientists but are very dedicated, like yourself, for example, Steve, or even Richard Palmasan or whatever. But unless you have formal scientific training, unfortunately, you don't get that credibility, as bad as they may be. So to get scientists who have that formal training and schooling and diplomas to be, or sorry, doctorates, don't want to piss off anybody here, but to get them involved and sort of take this seriously and look into this sort of paranormal field and try to come up with an answer, it for some reason legitimizes it, even though it shouldn't need to go that route. But it will somewhat legitimize it if you get a consensus from the scientific community or a general population from the scientific community to take it seriously and actually get involved in trying to figure this stuff out.
Yes, it does. The interesting thing is, though, I mean, when you look at science, there is a lot of things that they've been researching and trying to understand more, that we thought was paranormal, that necessarily is not, because they were able to find answers or explanations, if you will, and not theorize, but actually find the answers. Um, and a lot of times it goes unnoticed. Unless people read these scientific
Journals.
journals, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at, I wonder if they can, I wonder if they understand what this is about. When you look at these journals, there could possibly be something there that explains, maybe not all of it, but maybe some aspect of it that might lead to a full explanation.
Is one of them infrasound? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I mean, I know, but I mean, infrasound is, it's a wonderful area, man. I'll tell you that. We know a lot about infrasound. Not everybody knows a lot about infrasound, but I really do believe, through the research that I've done, I really do equate, perhaps, the EVP realm as, driven by infrasound. I mean, I almost undoubtedly believe that what we're experiencing is, it's not stray radio waves or cell phone signals, whatever. You get all those explanations out there, but uh, rather infrasound, something that we can't tap into manually, if you will. We need devices like recorders and video and so on and so on to sort of patch into that, a hearing aid, if you will, to infrasound. Because if we were to listen to infrasound, it would literally drive us insane.
Yeah, so I've heard. Yeah,
And of course, people know, dogs, animals can hear that realm. They can sense that realm very well. In fact, an example is a dog whistle. Right? Perfect example of infrasound. Something we can't hear, doesn't bother our ears, but it bothers a dog's ears.
Yeah.
In fact, it's something that I would employ during a trail run, and if there are coyotes in the area, they don't like it. It's something that, okay, wow, that's weird. It's weird because I don't hear anything. I'm blowing, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah. But then the dogs and canines go crazy.
Go nuts. They go nuts. Anyways, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this, and then we're going to get into we'll talk a little bit about an update on the dark wood lot and more. Sound good?
Sounds good.
You're listening to and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, our YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Keith Age, and you're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Enjoy.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting live stream on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see us in three-dimensional, making total fools out of ourselves, you can do so there as well.
And you can watch us drink. By the way, I
Watch us-
switched back to whiskey.
Well, I went with this stuff tonight, right?
Mm,
The devil's sauce.
the devil's sauce.
Devil sauce. In I guess sort of tribute to the devil rides out.
Nice.
The devil rides out.
The devil.
What the hell was that?
That was me.
Yeah, I know that was you.
That was my weak attempt at saying the devil.
You sounded like a really bad, like, I don't know, Al Adamson movie.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. So you're just gonna believe what I say.
That's right.
Okay, so anyways, well, Redman, sorry to hear, buddy. Glad to hear you're doing good.
What happened?
Admit, Red, he was at emergency and recurrent absence.
Hmm.
Oh, and he was Canadian. Did he have the A? How did you know he was Canadian? The way he talked. Oh, I'm from Canada.
Eh?
Did he have a can of blue in his hand?
That's right. The bat blue.
Labatt Blue. No. Glad to hear everything's okay there, Edmund.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where were we?
I don't know. We were
Sidetracked.
talking about the woodlot.
The woodlot. The woodlot. The dark woodlot.
The dark woodlot.
The woodlot is dark. The accent. Redmond says the accent.
Ah.
He had an accent. That's weird. I mean, a Canadian with an accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Was he French Canadian?
You don't have accents. I don't know what you're talking about, Redmond.
What do you mean accents? Oh, it's weird, isn't it?
It is.
It is. So, anyways, yeah. So the dark woodlot. The woodlot is dark.
It is dark,
There is a woodlot that is very dark.
especially at nighttime.
Yeah, at nighttime. So we ventured into the woodlot one other time. Whoops. I'm trying to get we're gonna get some more drone footage, I think. And what I want to kind of do with the documentary is sort of show you time through the session of time through drone footage.
Okay.
And of course, you see the first, some of the first footage that we captured early in October. And now I want to kind of get some footage around this time of the year. Sort of all the leaves are gone. You got a little bit of snow on the ground. Well, a lot now, but give you that sort of image on the session of time and sort of play with that in the documentary. And I'm holding on to something that's going to be a shocker for the end
Cool.
that both you and Gord don't even know about. So I'm going to keep it because I want you guys to be shocked.
All right, then. I'm going to have to message Gord and tell him that you're keeping a secret from us.
No secret. No secret. I wouldn't do that. So anyways, we ventured into the woodlot and, I mean, this past, evening that we went in, it wasn't as eventful as the last one before that.
Yeah, it was
And of
very,
course,
very dry as far as
yeah,
things that
very,
occurred.
very calm, very
Yeah.
serene. And again, I went through the audio, and nothing really sort of sticks out. Of course, the night before we were there was a little bit more active, and you get a couple clips that will play and sort of let people hear. I mean, it's probably going to be hard to hear on YouTube unless you're listening with a headset or whatever else. But there's something very odd playing out there, and what I used to call it is ghost chatter.
Hmm.
And sort of you're hearing, but only not hearing it with the naked ear, real time. But in this particular event, it was recorded on the audio. So one of the recorders was positioned in an area that seemed to be, excuse me, giving off the sense that there was a presence there. May it have been female, male, I don't know. You can't really tell from the whispering, but you just have a sense that something's there.
Hmm.
And you know what I mean, because you heard the audio, right?
Yeah.
You could sort of feel like there was a presence there other than ours.
Right. Right. Yeah, you
So
can
you
you
got
can at some points, yes.
okay, so you got a couple of clips there. You want to
Yep.
play and this is audio that was taken from um what was it, night 5. Night 5,
Yeah, the
I
last time
think.
we went out?
No.
The one
That's
before
night
that.
6. Night 5. This is taken from night 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the one that says Mike knocked first. Okay?
Yep.
Here it
Yep, go
goes.
ahead.
Okay.
And the strange thing about it sounds like the mic's being knocked over, right?
Hmm.
And literally the mic was not knocked over at all. So essentially whatever it was just kind of bumped the mic enough to give it that sound.
Gotcha. And you know what? I could kind of get like a very very subtle sort of background noise on
Yeah.
that clip.
Yeah, play it again one more
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Now, grant you that could have been an animal. I
Mhm.
mean, we don't know. I mean, it could have been an animal,
We didn't really see any animals though,
but there was no animals that we saw. I mean, I don't know.
or
You
heard.
can't rule anything out,
No, you
obviously.
can't. But yeah.
Um, but again, we didn't see any animal. I mean, we did see a possum. There was a possum, and there were some mice. But I mean, for the most part, uh, I don't know. I mean, you can't rule it out, but I mean, the facts are there. But again, what you literally hear, whatever it is, that it sounds like it's knocking the mic over. But when we found the mic, it was still in its natural state. It hadn't moved. So eventually, initially, whatever happened, maybe was whatever it was bumped
Hmm.
enough to give it that sound of being knocked over, if you will.
Yeah.
But by what, we don't know. We don't know. Okay, so play the second clip again, or you want to play that one more time? I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, let's go with the second one for now, and then we can go back to the other one.
Okay.
So here's the second one.
Yep. Now this one's a little harder to make out, on YouTube. And again, you have to be listening with the headset. If you're not listening with the headset, you're not going to really hear this. And it's short. But the thing is, it sort of gives you an impression of what I was talking about. And I don't want to sort of force feed anyone what I'm thinking. But okay, play it again.
Okay. It's right off the bat. There's something there.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you, what are you sort of getting from this?
It's kind of weird because it kind of sounds like animals. To be honest with you, at first glance, I'd have to listen to it a couple of times to try to be able to see if I can grasp it. But it kind of does sound like an animal in the background.
Okay. Go ahead. Play it again.
Okay. Yeah, it almost sounds like a dog in the background, but I don't know if that's what it is.
No, so essentially the dog bark. I don't know about the dog, but what I'm hearing and what I initially heard was a little whisper.
Was that right at the beginning of the clip?
Not quite at the beginning, but
Okay.
closer to the middle. So what's being said, I don't know, but this is sort of a clip of what I'm trying to sort of explain to people what I was experiencing with a lot of the audio. There seemed to be a lot of what I call ghost whisper or ghost
Chatter.
not ghost was ghost chatter,
Yeah.
sorry. And this whispering or chatter that you can't really make out, but it seems to be there. It's very present. But go ahead. Play it again.
Okay. Okay.
So you hear it almost in the beginning, but then you really hear it near the middle part.
Yeah.
Oh. You know?
It's definitely something.
Yeah.
It's hard to make out
And
exactly what, but it's definitely something.
It's hard to make out, but again, this is just one of many sort of clips that have been captured from that evening alone. That sort of, okay, look at, is there something going on? I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's intriguing. It sort of gives you an idea of what may be going on in that forest, on a regular basis, because there's nobody around except for animals or whatever else. There's no actual listening, if you will, going on a regular basis in that particular area at night. What are we missing?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the possibilities of I think this is what's really intriguing about this. One of the more intriguing aspects of this forest is that for some odd reason, I think we've sort of tapped into or having a glimpse into what possibly could be going on, but only in a small sort of aspect of a larger sort of frame.
Yeah. There's definitely something going on in that woodlot for sure. I mean, the multiple times we've gone there, the different kind of feeling, or I guess for lack of a better term, feelings that even Gordon and I kind of agreed on, almost like the atmosphere was different from one day to the other. And it's weird how that happens when you're going to the same location multiple times. It's either you go there and you kind of feel something weird every time you go, or you don't. But we kept feeling something different every single time we went there. And that in and of itself is weird. Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird. Very, very weird. I honestly don't know how to explain it other than, okay, look at something's going on, but what? Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what this documentary is, something that we're going to try to explain, or sort of start to explain. I mean, there is a story. What we're finding, does it play out into that story? I don't know. Does it sort of have a link to the story? I don't know. I really don't know. We have no idea. And again, this is one of the reasons why when you investigate a location, you can't just simply go once and tell somebody, "Oh yeah, it's paranormal," or "It's haunted," or "No, it's not haunted." You really, really, truly need to do multiple visitations to a location to truly understand what's happening. Because I'll tell you right now, we've been there, 6 times?
Yeah, in total.
Initially, what turned out to be, okay, we're going to shoot over a 4-night period. We found enough intriguing aspects in the 4 nights that we said, okay, we're going to expand this into a full-blown documentary. Now it's been 6 visitations. The 5th visitation, I think, was the the bone chiller of them all, I think.
That's not the one I wasn't there, was it?
No, that was I think the 3rd one. You weren't there. The 3rd night. The 5th one is when we found the bones.
Yes, that's right.
The bone, and that's where we're getting a lot of this, the audio that we're playing tonight, the ghost chatter, if you will. Mm-hmm. Sort of give you an aspect of what we were experiencing, or at least, listening to the audio. But there was something. I mean, it was intriguing. But what I'm thinking is, could the weather be a factor? Because, I mean, remember that night how it started to cool down, get colder a little bit.
Yeah.
And the fog started to roll in through the forest. Oh my God. If we were only able to capture that.
I know.
Somehow, to give you an impression of what it was like to stand in the middle of that forest, that would be awesome.
And then it was cut short by that coyote.
Well, yeah, I mean, we probably would have been okay. That wouldn't have been a problem. The coyote was just there, but still, you just don't want to take chances, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, we were able to get some pictures of the fog, but it just doesn't do it any justice.
No, it doesn't.
If I only had the low lighting camera, then probably would have been able to get some good photos out of that.
Yeah, we would have, for sure.
But could that have played a factor into what we were experiencing?
I have no doubt that it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the atmosphere is very important, right?
Well, obviously, yes.
So the ambiance, the atmosphere, and one could argue what affects what. You know what I mean? Does the atmosphere affect the ability for us to capture more paranormal stuff, or is it the other way around? Is the ability for us to capture more paranormal activity that on any given night affect the atmosphere in general?
I mean, yeah. That's a good point. There was one thing though that was intriguing about the last visitation that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the stone mound.
The mound, yes, that
The
we
mound.
stumbled upon by accident.
By accident, yeah. Um, what could it possibly be?
We don't know. I mean, right now the ground's too hard to be able to, try to see if we can dig anything. But it's tough to say, considering we found a bone um, on the fifth night.
The fifth night, yeah.
It's there's a very slight possibility that this has something to do with it, meaning the mound, where the bone came from. My concern is obviously that that the bone the police obviously haven't gotten back to you as far as finding out what that bone was. No, okay.
I'm leaning more towards it most likely was a deer bone.
Okay. If it was a deer bone, then chances are that mound has nothing to do with it. However, if it wasn't a deer bone, if it was human and they just haven't gotten back to you for whatever reason, then that mound could possibly have something to do with it.
Well, to think that we did a quick search and there was no other traces of any other body part, other bone pertaining to the same sort of whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Could it have been from that mound? Who knows?
Exactly. We don't know. Again, it's because the ground is so frozen. We couldn't even grab a stick and dig a bit down to see if we could find anything, and that was the problem.
Dude, have we stumbled on something a little bit more than we should have?
Maybe.
I mean, that's the scary part. I mean, we don't know, man. I mean, I think that's the intriguing thing. I mean, are we patching into something that is it telling us, trying to tell us something?
Hey, that's kind of what we're aiming to do, though. It's trying to figure out what's going on here, right? Hopefully we can, without having the need to try to dig up that mound. But, if we need to go back and try to find that mound and dig and to see if there's anything underneath it, so be it. But we'll have to wait until spring, obviously, or at least summer.
We're going to have to remember where the mound was.
That's the problem, yeah. Just trying to find it again.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, we should be able to find it, hopefully. But you never know.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing. There's a reason why we're doing this documentary, folks.
Yeah.
There's some really intriguing stuff going on, and I really, really, to this point, what have we sort of discovered? I don't want to tell you because obviously that's the reason for the documentary, and I want you guys to see for yourself through the documentary. But I mean, we will here and there sort of give you little teasers of what to expect. I don't want to give away too much, though. I simply just don't want to, because this is turning out to be a little bit more than I think we bargained for.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, have we finished shooting?
Nope.
No, I think we're going back in maybe one
couple more times.
Maybe a couple more times at least. So it's going to take a while before this documentary is going to be completed. But at least when it's completed, hopefully you'll know a lot. We'll know a lot more, obviously, as to what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, truly intriguing. And hopefully we'll be able to sort of convey that to you guys through the documentary when it's finished. Once again, that's the Dark Woodlot, which initially was going to be the third episode of Nocturnal Night Shots. But again, like I said, This is getting to be a little more than what we bargained for. I don't think a 25 to 30-minute episode of Nocturnal Night Shots is going to do the justice of what's going on, I think.
No, it's not. And you know what? I mean, going back on location a couple more times, I think would be a good thing. But also, there's going to be other scenarios where we're going to have like a individual interview of the people involved.
Yeah,
sort of
well,
give,
yeah. I mean,
you know,
there's going to be
yeah,
more added. I mean, this is the footage that we've captured so far, audio that we've captured so far, and the personal experiences. And again, I know personal experiences don't really equate to too much, and can't really be, included as any evidence at all. But nonetheless, it was an experience that's a part of the time shooting at this particular area. And again, I think is very important to what we're going to try to convey with the overall finished product, obviously. So I'm intrigued. Like I said, I'm intrigued with the location. I'm intrigued with what we've experienced so far, and I'm definitely going to be very intrigued to finally finish this off and to have you guys watch it and get your thoughts on what we experienced overall, right?
yep, for sure.
So yeah, wow, yeah. So look for that in the new year. I there's no time, date, or anything concrete yet. We still got a lot of work to do. But I mean, we're more than halfway through, but there's still a lot more work to do.
And you know what? This lockdown scenario is not helping, so it's going to delay things a little bit.
This is well, obviously the lockdown's till what, January 28th?
For now.
For now, I mean that could be extended depending on how things play out with the COVID, but that's part of the, I guess, the intrigue of this as well. What will be thrown at us next?
Exactly.
So, but yeah. So, anyways, enough of the dark wood lot. Hopefully it turns out good, and you guys enjoy it when it's done. So moving on.
Yes.
Where do we go from here?
Well, we could discuss Dr. Matas, who's written a book about the borders of normal. A clinical psychiatrist destigmatizes paranormal phenomena. We could discuss this.
Yeah. I haven't read the full article yet, but I mean, I've read most of it, and it's intriguing.
It is intriguing. I mean, this is a psychiatrist who has himself experienced some paranormal activity in his 40 years of practice, stemming back from when he was in university. And his goal essentially is to try to, as the title says, destigmatize the paranormal, because there's a lot of people who still will not come forward or are hesitant to come forward with their experience because of fear of ridicule. So what he's trying to accomplish is he's trying to sort of get that sort of stigmatization done and over with so that people can feel comfortable coming forward with their experience, whether it's legitimate or not, meaning whether it's actually paranormal or whether it's just a figment of their imagination. That remains to be determined. However, no one should be afraid to come forward and relate their experience just because of that stigma. And that's what I think this book is about primarily. I actually just bought it while we were in the first hour. I went on Kobo and bought it on because I want to read it. It looks intriguing. I want to see what his experiences are all about and what he's trying to get at with this sort of destigmatization. Sorry, I'm slurring my words because I've had a bit too much to drink. It's the
Well, you
holiday
go
season
from a-
still.
You
But
go from a triple bone tree to some 40 Creek, I guess so.
yeah, that'll do it for sure. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, it's a given fact that there are still a lot of people out there that don't want to share their experiences because people will think they're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the problem, right? Because as we discussed earlier in the first hour, even if 1% of all the people who come forward with an experience is legitimate, it's worth looking into. The problem is if people are not coming forward,
No.
only the ones that want that sort of 5 minutes in the spotlight or who are basically bullshitting their way to try to get some kind of notoriety, if that's the only people who are coming forward, then it's kind of pointless. We need the people who are hesitant to come forward, because I tend to believe those people a little bit more because they're not gung-ho. It's almost like anything else, right? I mean, if someone is like, oh yeah, I want to do it, I want to be the first one. It's like, okay, so what's your reasoning for it? Why do you want it so badly? You know what I mean? There's got to be a reason for it, right? So the ones who are hesitant to come forward because they're afraid that they're going to be ridiculed or whatever the case may be, I tend to kind of believe a little bit more just because of their hesitancy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Right.
Total sense, dude. Total sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a known fact. I mean, I've sort of come across it several times during investigations, if you will. People are afraid to come forward, to share their experiences, obviously. And the first reaction is, I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but this is what happened to me. And I don't care. I've heard and seen a lot of really crazy shit. So when a person says that, automatically I'm like, there's probably literally nothing you can say or show me that would ultimately make me think that you're crazy, because I mean, there's so much shit out there that we simply have not experienced yet. I mean, tell me, I mean, there's constantly something in this world that raises your eyebrows and goes, wow, I never thought I'd ever see that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely
So-
a lot of things that happen that, make you sort of like, what the hell? Kind of say that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
And it's important for these people to come forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, if you're, researching and studying the paranormal, and perhaps that might be your sort of expertise or specialty or whatever in the field, it would only help that, people would come forward and share that sort of experience. Because I mean, simply, their experience could sort of fill in the blanks and bring new light to other cases, for instance, through similarities, or, maybe there's a piece of their experience that sort of is a missing piece to other experiences that sort of coincides, or whatever. But yeah, it's important that I think it's very important that they come forward and sort of share their experiences. But again, yeah, there's that stigmatization. Oh my God.
It's a tough
Holy
word to
crap.
say.
No, it's called
Stigmatization.
Yeah, forget it. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they simply won't come forward.
That's right.
And it's really, really too bad.
And
It
again,
really is.
if people want to know the name of the book again, it's called The Borders of Normal, A Clinical Psychiatrist Destigmatizes Paranormal Phenomena. Should be available on pretty much every platform out there.
Every platform. Well, you got it off Amazon?
No, I got it off of Kobo.
Oh, you got it Kobo.
Yeah.
So most likely Amazon will probably have Amazon
I wouldn't be
books or
surprised.
whatever.
I wouldn't
or
be surprised if
whatever.
it's there.
Yeah. So, but I mean that sort of brings up another thing, obviously. Well, not another thing, pretty much the same thing. But I mean, what is crazy and what's not? When it comes to the paranormal, what is crazy? Crazy is something outside of the normal. Lumps right in with the paranormal.
Mhm.
So is it essentially crazy? No, because it's expected for somebody like myself who is looking for that sort of craziness and helping somebody who might be dealing with that sort of craziness and sort of bringing that craziness down to a level at least where it's helping them out to understand a little bit more of what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. And we need to be able to get to a level where we can have people feel comfortable not approaching, sort of admitting what they've experienced. It's very important to be able to document this stuff, to be able to discern what's legitimate and what's not, based on prior experiences that we've had with other people, based on what's being related to us. Um, if things are kept from us or kept from the community in general, we're never going to get to a level where we can sort of learn to weed out the ones that are not legitimate, for lack of a better term, or maybe deemed as actual misconceptions of normal mundane reasonings. Because there's a lot of that as well, where people misconstrue regular mundane things or noises that they hear as paranormal when in reality it's completely normal. Houses make noise. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, yeah, but again, there are a lot of people that are dealing with a lot of strangeness in their
Of
homes.
course. Yes.
Um, they could, equate to just maybe an animal in their attic or
Mhm.
just the settling of a home or just it could be anything. Not necessarily everything, though. I mean, yeah, there could be something that is unexplainable, but again, nobody will ever know if you don't sort of look for the help that is necessary. But at the same time, where do you look for the help?
Yeah.
I mean, who do you turn to? There are a lot of people out there that will tell you, oh, look at I can let you know what's going on, and for 8 grand, I can serve it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, it does happen.
Happens all the time. I mean, let's throw it out there, Alex. Where do people look, or what should people look for when they're looking for help when it comes to the paranormal, if you will?
Definitely groups that don't charge anything. That's the key thing that people need to be aware of. Um, People that charge, they're going to charge you whether your house is haunted or not. Put it that way,
Mhm.
because that's what they do. They charge you. Uh, Groups like Steve's group, SOPs, and other groups who don't charge, they're out there to try to figure out what the hell's going on, come hell or high water. And if it ends up being something mundane, then that's what they're going to tell you. And that's what you want.
Well, I mean, when you go into a situation, the situation is plain and simple. You go in there and you explain the explainable. I mean, that's common sense.
Yeah.
It's common sense. You go into that person's uh, home, resident, whatever, residency, and you tell them, you say, look, I'm going to explain everything I can possibly explain to you. And then I'm going to come back and tell you, look, there is an aspect of something going on that we can't explain. Are you willing to move forward?
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you right now, there are several people out there that that we've dealt with. Okay, look at. Um, are you willing to hear what I'm about to tell you? And it could be, okay, well, yeah, there's something going on. No, your house is not haunted. This is what's going on. People can't accept that either.
Yep.
Oh my God. Look out. There are people out there that will dispute it till they're blue in the face. But you've given them every rational explanation for what's going on in their house. And it's not paranormal. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
Because they want you to tell them that their house is haunted. Oh God. I don't know who's crazier, me or them.
Exactly.
But I mean, no, you have to be rational. I mean, come on, look, when we're dealing with the paranormal, you have to be rational. If you're not rational, forget it. You're in the wrong field.
Yeah.
If you can't take scrutiny, you're in the wrong field. If you yourself, an investigator or researcher of the paranormal, can't accept help from another person in the same field, or look for help, or admit that you're in over your head, then you're in the wrong field. Because I'll tell you right now, this is a constant learning process. You're constantly learning. You're a constant student. You're never an expert. I mean, God forbid you go out and tell people you're an expert at, investigating the paranormal.
Yeah, you'll get eyebrows raised from at least Steve and I.
Yeah. But I mean, look, come on, let's be sensible here.
There's no experts in the field of the unknown.
No, there are experts in fields of photography. There's experts in the field of audio. There's in videography, whatever. EMF meters. There's experts in those fields, but there are no experts when it comes to the paranormal itself. But yet there are people out there that will make those claims.
Yeah, of course.
You got a demon? I'll show you a demon. Come on.
And all we have to do if there's an actual demon is get Dr. Demon Gord involved.
Dr. Demon Gord.
Ow! Shit! Oh, that hurt.
Classic.
Very classic.
Classic. He's never going to live it down.
Nope. Never gonna live it down.
No. Yeah. So I mean, it's a crazy field. And it's only going to continue to get crazier as look at 2020.
Yeah.
How crazy 2020's been, period.
Yep.
The paranormal is twice as crazy as 2020.
The paranormal is actually normal.
Well, yeah,
compared to what we've been having to deal with.
Yeah, true. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really scary. But to think that something makes the paranormal look normal.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you correct it? You can correct things. There again, like a lot of things in life now, social media, you're only one voice, and trying to educate people on the paranormal, if you will, and the do's and don'ts, and the what's and whatnots and whatever else. It's it's not let your work do the talking anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. You could have a catalog of 200 to 300, 400 investigations behind your belt, and it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what's being shown on TV.
Yep.
More or less,
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
you know? And that's the sad reality of it all. Because people will sit there and squabble over something that plays out on Ghost Adventures, if you will. If you're doing that, you're fucked up already. No, you are. Because if you don't know that you're watching a TV show, that it is simply entertainment, and that's all. It's like watching Saturday morning wrestling when you were a kid
Mm-hmm.
and buying into it, believing it was all real. No, it's not staged.
It's all real.
It's all real. Just Ghost Adventures is the bloody same thing. It's entertainment. I mean, sure, there are aspects on the show that are real. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are aspects in Saturday morning wrestling as well that were real. Wrestling's real. But it doesn't mean what you're seeing is real. It's the same with Ghost Adventures and any other TV show. Same thing. Don't always believe what you're seeing. I mean, do you believe everything that you see that is that might be paranormal to you? Do you believe it as being paranormal, or do you try to make sense of it?
I try to make sense of it first.
You try to make sense of it. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You have to, as you said it, because so many things go on every day that goes, for the most part, unnoticed. And these are mundane things I'm talking about. They go unnoticed. And then there's the odd time when you actually catch something that goes on regular basis, normal stuff that happens. And because you only catch it that one time, if you automatically assume that that's paranormal, well, then pretty much everything is paranormal to you then, if that's the case. And you can't think like that. You cannot think like that. You have to first eliminate, if we want to put it this way, if you want to have any sort of legitimacy in this field whatsoever, we have to be scrutinizing everything that occurs to us first before we come forward with any sort of quote unquote evidence.
If you take a picture and you don't understand the picture, or if you've captured something on video or audio or whatever, let people who may have a know in these sort of aspects, let them sort of make heads or tails out of it, sort of help you out. Always look for guidance, always look for help, because I don't know how many times I've captured something or whatever that I don't understand, and that's a lot. There's a lot of shit I don't understand, and I probably will never understand, because look, if science doesn't, then why should I? So look for rational help. Somebody who might have a little bit more experience than you in the field, somebody who maybe have a little bit more experience in certain aspects of the field, like photography or videography or whatever. They might be able to make heads or tails out of what you've captured. And if so, don't go into this thinking that because you're asking for help, that you're weak or whatever. That's not the case. Without looking for help, you're not going to get anywhere. We won't. None of us will get anywhere.
That's right.
Because there's always somebody out there that knows more than you.
Yes.
I mean, look at Alex knows more than I do, so I look to him.
That's right. And I look to Steve. So, yeah, it's circular.
Circular motion. Oh, I got somebody from the Metro Squad.
The what? Oh, yeah, I see that. I see that.
But anyways, anyhow, that's the thing. You really don't understand everything about what's going on. I mean, that goes without question. If you go into if you have the mentality to think that, look it, I know everything. Let me tell you, there are things that are going to throw a loop in your sort of um,
Way of thinking.
way of thinking, your existence, whatever. Because it always happens. It really does. I mean, look, if you think you know everything, you don't. You really don't. You have no idea. None whatsoever. I mean, let me go back to one thing that happened to you, Alex. And I keep going back to this, but I do it for good reason. Your time in the Spruce Lane farmhouse.
Yes.
And the time on the staircase where you weren't feeling well.
Yep.
Like, sort of go into that again.
Okay, so just to give everybody context who hasn't heard the story before, I was feeling ill already to begin with. I had a bit of a cold. I wasn't feeling 100%. So when we went into the house and we started the investigation, I started feeling worse. And initially, I chalked it up to me just getting worse. I had no compunction about calling it paranormal because I was sick already. So towards the end of the night, it was getting to a point where I was drained of energy to the point where I had to sit down and just sort of relax. And that's when I was sitting down at the main staircase there. And I was like, okay, this is crap, because, I wanted to come out and be a part of the investigation and be, have more contribution to the actual investigation than just me sitting my ass on the stairs. But the funny thing is when we finished the investigation and we went outside, I started to feel better immediately. As soon as we exited the house, I was not 100% by any stretch, because again, like I said, I was sick already to begin with. Yeah. But I was feeling a lot better than inside the house. For some strange reason, as soon as we went outside, I was back to the normal I was when we first got there, which was still sick, but just, stuffy head or stuffy nose, whatever, and that kind of stuff. I wasn't that ill, but yeah, it was incredible how it's like, as soon as we stepped out, not even about a minute or two later, I started feeling back to normal.
So, okay, put it this way. Your sort of comfort zone was totally disrupted.
Yeah.
And overall, how did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, like I said, initially I chalked it up to me getting sicker.
Yeah.
So I didn't think of it as anything to do with the house. It wasn't until after, when we went outside, that I started getting better, and I was sort of reviewing what happened throughout the night and said, okay, how does that happen? How do I get worse inside the house and then get better once we leave the house? Physically speaking, how is that possible? Right? So that's when you have to kind of think outside the box and possibly contemplate the fact that it wasn't physical, but metaphysical, so to speak.
Metaphysical. There's that word again. Metaphysical. Yeah. Okay, hold on a sec. We're gonna end things on the New Visions Radio Network.
I think we should take a little bit of a break. I need to go to the washroom. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back on YouTube. How's that?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get rid of this.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for tuning in on New Visions Radio Network. We'll see you. Well, you'll hear us next Sunday night. I think we're going to do next Sunday night. I don't know.
At this point, we might. Who knows?
It's it's normally our hiatus, Christmas, New Year's hiatus.
Yep.
But this year's been different. 2020's been all fucked up.
Yep.
But who cares, right? This is the way we roll right now.
That's right.
So, anyways, we're going to end things on New Visions. If you're listening to us on New Visions, come on over to our YouTube channel and watch us the live stream simulcast on YouTube. YouTube.com/user/nocturnal frequency 1 is the exact link, or just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio in the YouTube search box. We'll be right back. And again, we'll see you later on New Visions Radio Network.
Have a good night.
Night.
So we're going on break then?
Yep.
Okay, we'll go on break now.
Break.
You've tuned into Nocturnal Frequency Radio with your hosts, Steve and Alex.
This is Keith Page, and you're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Enjoy.
You've tuned into Nocturnal Frequency Radio with your hosts, Steve and Alex.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
Nocturnal Frequency Radio with your hosts, Steve and Alex.
I lost your video feed. We're back on the air, by the way.
You lost me.
I lost the video feed for you.
How the hell did you lose the video feed for me?
I don't know. It's that damn Skype again. See if I can get you back.
What's that damn Skype?
The hell?
I don't know.
Oh god damn. Well, anyway, you can talk. I'll get your feed on as we talk.
I feel unwanted.
Don't feel unwanted.
So what were we talking about before we went for break here?
Yeah, we're talking a bunch of stuff. I don't know. We're kind of like half in the bag right now, anyway. So
You're half in the bag, baby. I'm not quite there yet.
you're not quite there yet.
No.
No.
I mean this devil sauce is doing a pretty good job, but it's not quite. What is this anyways? This is 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah. 8.5. Are
See,
we live? Are we live?
we are live.
Oh, but yeah, you have no video feed.
No, I have mine. For some reason, yours disappeared. I'm just trying to get yours back now. It's not fucking cooperating with me. Pardon my language.
Why would you pardon your language
You know,
now?
at this point,
it's not like it's been a prerequisite earlier.
yeah. Especially now since we're only on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, they don't love it on YouTube.
No.
We get pegged on YouTube for this language, don't we?
Nah, no, because it's classified as adult content.
Oh, adult content. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Is that what this is? Adult content?
Well, yeah, it can be, considering the cursing we do sometimes.
No, but I mean, do you list the show as adult content?
Well, I list it as not suitable for children, put it that way.
Well, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, God, who would want to look at your ugly mug anyways?
Well, that's just it, right?
I'm just kidding. Okay, so anyways, going on with what we were saying, we were talking about your experience in the Spruce Lane farmhouse.
Yes.
And it's sort of it made you think, and you said it wasn't until you went outside and sort of thought about it and said, okay, this doesn't make sense, what's going on, sort of thing. And the reason why I sort of brought it up is because obviously what was it, the following week or the following visit or whatever, that Gord had an incident similar to yours.
Apparently he did. Yeah.
Right? Who was feeling a little, nauseous or whatever in that same area that you were feeling nauseous. And then a few visits later, we had Richard Palmisano come out, who had a tri-field meter, who was going around that area and was finding some very unusual readings.
Yeah, in that same area, around the staircase.
In that
right?
same area. So, could you being sick and could the fact that Gord being sick in the same area have something to do with EMF fields?
It's quite possible. Yes. But I mean, I'm assuming you tested that area for EM fields.
I did, and again, I wasn't getting anything unusual, right?
And that's just it. I mean, if I think it's something more than just EM fields that we're dealing with. I mean, we're making the assumption that EM fields are linked to paranormal when they could very well not be. Right? So there's definitely something going on there. If both Gord and I experienced something similar, plus when Richard went out, he captured something weird there as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing that sort of makes us think. Okay, what is going on in that particular area? And this is again, this is something outside the norm, if you will. This is something that would look at, okay, this warrants more sort of investigation, if you will, and trying to make sense of, okay, look at, we've had two people feel sick in this particular area. We've got a tri-field meter, which, most people in the paranormal totally forget about nowadays, because it's not a K2 or it's not our whatever. A tri-field meter is actually a really good tool to have in investigating the paranormal. It's an awesome tool, I think, to have, and most people just don't pay attention to it. I think it's one of those tools that have fallen out of grace, if you will,
No.
because there's so many parlor tricks out there now that these kids and people getting into the paranormal now have to have. They don't even think about a tri-field meter. If you were to ask them what a tri-field meter was, they said, what is it for? uh,
To be lost?
what's a tri-field meter? Have you got my video feedback yet or what?
I do.
Oh, why didn't you say something?
Well, because I was doing it as you were talking.
Oh, okay. But that's what I mean. It takes more than one visitation to truly understand if something's going on in a location.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that played out in a location that we're familiar with. And to explain it, there is no explanation right now as it goes. There's none. Other that, look at something unusual happened with two different people, different times, two different two different visitations. And again, with the backing of a tri-field meter and the readings that was picking up in the general location in where you got sick, makes me want to know more about what's going on. And unfortunately, because of what happened with COVID, we were unable to go in there this year. I don't hear your audio.
I said, that sucks. I'm sorry. I had the mute on. I said, that sucks, but we will go back when we can.
Oh, we will. Yes. I look forward to the day that we're able to go back. I really am.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that place. And you know what's really weird about it? It's not too far from the woodlot.
No, it's not.
Ah.
It's very close.
Very close to the woodlot.
Which is in and of itself intriguing.
Yes. Very intriguing. Very intriguing. Quite intriguing. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. I think there's something more at play. Like I said, I kind of told you guys that I think when I looked at the map of the area from the early 1800s, and when you look at it and you see that the whole sort of from I don't want to say the streets because of location. I don't want to give away the location sort of thing, but that whole sort of block, if you will, was farmland at one time. And there was several farms there. And it's intriguing because I'm not too far from that particular area.
That's right.
And I've had a lot of unusual things happen in my home.
So that raises the question of, is that whole area that you're located in, the woodlot's located in, Um, is that area sort of, did something happen there that
Well,
caused?
that's the question,
Right.
right?
And I mean, it's going to be more difficult, obviously, to try to investigate the area where your subdivision is in because of obviously all the other houses.
Mhm.
But we have to sort of try to make do with the woodlot and, you know,
The question is, or at least uh, put the question out there to the area, surrounding area. Does anyone have any stories that they can tell us? Anything weird that has happened to them in their homes in this particular area? And again, this is the thing that's leads down to, well, maybe somebody had an experience, but they don't want to share it because they're afraid somebody will think they're crazy.
yeah.
Right, but that's not the question. That's not the case. No, I mean, I mean, I'd have to find the right platform to sort of ask that question, I think, in hopes that somebody would come forward with a sort of story that might pertain to the particular area, that might play into everything that's going on. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
And maybe if you can get, this would be kind of weird to do, but if you can kind of get, not a flyer, for lack of a better term,
Oh, what?
the old school flyers you post out in the neighborhood
yeah,
saying,
the old
if you've
school.
experienced anything sort of paranormal, contact or email this email address. You know, how else are you going to do it, right?
There is absolutely no way we can't. We can't do it, dude. We're fucking screwed.
I think you can if you're willing to do it.
Well, you can. It's just a matter of doing it. Well, yeah, the old school way. Who knows? But I mean, it's really up to trying to figure out if somebody is willing to come forward and saying, "Look at, oh yeah, you know."
Well, that's why I figured if you do it the old way to some generic email address, they might be more willing to do it as opposed to making it seem like it's a public forum. Because if you do it on the show, they may be less inclined to come forward because they know we're going to be talking about it on the show. Whereas if you say, okay, email this email address with your experience, if you've had any, we may talk about it on a show, but we will not talk about it. Sorry, we won't disclose who it's coming from, rather. You know what I mean? We'll keep you anonymous. Maybe that might work. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, that's a big maybe, right?
It is a big maybe, yeah.
That is a big maybe. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it, buddy.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
think so.
I think again, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so, because that way you'll be up to date as to what's going to be happening. If there will be a show next Sunday night, we don't know yet. We're playing day by day here. Obviously, how things have sort of unfolded, but I want to thank everybody for tuning into New Visions Radio, listening to us there, and of course, and watching us here on the YouTube channel. We quite often see a lot of regulars, and I want to thank you again for continuously popping in and supporting the show. Really, we really do appreciate it. And if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think we'd continue to do this. I think it's you guys that really make us want us to keep coming back weekly and doing the show. So thank you. And, take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care. And don't forget to drop a like as well.
Yes, like us and, comments, questions, whatever else. We continuously look forward to those. All right, take care, everyone.
Take care. Have a good night.
Yep, good night.